how do you apply storytelling in a sales environment?
Just like almost any story, if you can relate to the person, it makes it more a better story. So in sales, the first thing you always want to do is, one, know your audience, know the objections ahead of time so you can include that in your story. But the more you know about that customer, that client, you ask those questions. Hey, tell me a little bit about your business. And then you customize that story to present the solution to their problems. Just like, I had talked about this a little bit earlier. Like if your dad, when he was reading you a story, if he customized Goldilocks and the Three Bears to Shannon and the Three Mean Cheerleaders or something like that,
yeah,
it would be something like, oh, I'm dialed in,
You're instantly more interested in what they have to say.
Absolutely, because it's dialed into you. So even though he's making it up and it's based off of the general premise of what the story is, it's going to be tailored to you, so you'll be more interested, you'll be more dialed in, you'll lean into the story. Therefore, understanding what it is, the feedback loop is so much better. It's very important. But I know Sean is really, really good at this, because the more practice you have in telling that story, if somebody has an objection at the end, he always tries to, he'll include that. He goes, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. And then he addresses those questions.
Yep.
But what he's done now is that if this question comes up a bunch, I'm going to, move that into the beginning of my story, so that, because if somebody's like got this objection and they don't want to interrupt the story, they wait to the end. But the whole time, that objection is sitting in their head. So right now, we'll put all of those objections up front. We'll say, okay, so you don't like this, you don't like this. This is the reason a lot of people do it. We're vetted this way. And then all of a sudden, okay, now those objections are on the table. It's out in the open, and they can move on with the story. So that's really kind of how you do your storytelling. Like I think you said earlier, it's a journey. But you customize that journey.
You hit the nail on the head by saying it's not set in stone, and this is why Sean is able to be such a great salesman, because he can anticipate what questions they're going to have because he's done it so many times. And it's like, how do you get to that point? Well, it's not like you have a script and you have to abide by everything within the script. Like you said, you're customizing it depending on who you're telling the story to or who you're taking along with you on this journey. I think if you look at it like that, it becomes much easier and it's a little more flexible.
Yeah, and when you think of a lot of people, when they think of storytelling, it's different than an actual story. Like a story is like written in a book. Yeah. I think one of the best storytellers, Governor Edwards, was, one of Louisiana's governors forever. But anytime he would talk to a different audience, he actually would change his accent. It was, he was tailoring his story not just to talk to the people that he was going to and presenting their problems. Politicians do this a lot, but he actually would change his accent to get his story more relatable to those people. And that's something that really good storytellers, good salespeople, they're one and the same, and that's kind of part of what it is.
How many pitches do you think Sean has given in his lifetime?
I think he just gave like 20 yesterday. I don't know. It's
like
a lot.
I mean, that's why he's so good at this. And I think if you kind of shift your perspective into thinking like this is a very valuable skill, but it's also like it's kind of evergreen. You're not always going to say the same exact thing every time. So
no.
I think.
Yeah, it's very similar to what he does.
Yeah. Well, I hope this helps answer any questions.